So we're in the back of this car right now, and we're doing the fuel pump install. And I don't know if someone, when they assembled this car from the plant, or if the fuel pump's been replaced at one point, but usually there's an arrow of how far you got to tighten this. Someone literally put this on and over tightened it before, that we couldn't get this off with a simple hammer and screwdriver. There's really no trick. You take a screwdriver and a hammer and you just, you tap these right here. They shouldn't be on there that bad. This one did not want to come off at all. So stuff like that just kind of goes unseen. Should have took 10 or 15 minutes to get off. Took about 45 minutes. Had to use an air hammer and be very, very gentle with it. And yeah, so little nicks right there, but it is what it is. There's no way around it. They do make a special tool, I believe, for it. The special tool actually more so pushes on this part to hold it down so you can screw this on. So this is spring loaded. So it is a pain in the butt sometimes to get this thing to screw on and it's just like a giant bolt. But like I said, whoever put this on originally really over tightened it, to say the least. So got that going on. So now we're sitting in a 2010 RDX. Customer came in to get licensed with Flash Pro, so we can tune it here a little bit later. We're throwing on one of the stock Honda tunes. Going to see a little bit of a jump that he can get. He's going to do some other mods a little bit later here so we can tune it. Got the 9th gen being worked on inside as the heat ramps up inside here a little bit as it's flashing the vehicle. Came back earlier from the doctor with my mother, mentioned that, didn't get the best news. Unfortunately, it looks like she's going to have another round of some chemo and radiation going on. We're going to go back to the doctor here in a couple days, talk about all that stuff. So trying to stay positive with that. We'll see how late I'm here today, trying to make some progress on this 9th gen. As always, though, keeping stuff flowing here, keeping stuff moving. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this stuff. So we got the fuel pump removed. I will say, when you got to unclip all these clips here, it definitely helps to have another set of hands. So call over a buddy if you're trying to do this in your garage. Once again, if you got no friends for whatever reason, you can message me. I will be your friend. If you got a girlfriend, mother, dad, dog, it definitely helps to have two hands. So taking the old pump out right now. Here's the old pump. Well, this is the new pump. There's the old pump. We're going to put that little guy in there. The one thing I was going to recommend and say in case I forgot, and here's the ring. This is the ring that holds it in. And yeah, you can see that the us getting it off, it was, where's the one? Chiseled off a little bit there, but it's not going to hurt anything. Whoever put it on before, like I said, maybe even from the factory, it was over tightened. But the big thing when you're inside, actually I'll just do it right here. When you're putting this on, this is also going to help to have another person to hold down in the center and then to screw this on. I believe my light is still in the car. Okay, so we're going to go back here as I climb in. Okay, so turn on my light. Little Bosch light. Little shout out to Bosch making an awesome light that holds. This thing's been beat and it still lasts. Anyway, sorry. When you're putting everything back on, and if you're going to have the fuel, climb up in here. If you're going to have the fuel pump out for a while, put a towel over this. Drape something over it. You can see, because the light is on, little specks of dust getting in there. Not going to be a huge deal. But what I wanted to show you guys was this little O-ring right here. Got to make sure that is on. Got to make sure that is on. You also got to make sure this other one is on right here. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask over here. This O-ring, you got to make sure it's on there. Okay, take this out. It's hard to work when you're looking through a camera. Make sure that is on. Some other cars are a little bit different. They'll have like a rubber seal around the whole thing. It doesn't matter how hard, you know, yes, it's going to be hard to get the whole pump on, and if you take this off, the pump will want to go right back on. But yeah, make sure you do that. So we got everything on. We got to make the last connection. And this is what I was saying right here. You can see the arrow right here. And then this is actually an arrow. You can see if I move my hand. You want to get that to line up with that arrow as close as possible. This is on super tight right now. It's not going anywhere. You know, can we get it a little bit tighter? Yeah, possibly, but at that point it's like, you know, it's not going to come loose. I'd rather not try to break it and get it on that tight. So a lot of people don't even know that arrow is supposed to line up with that. So just get it as close as possible. Like I said, it's not going to be the end of the world if you can't get it right there. The pump is on super tight. It's not going anywhere. We'll put the last clip on, and we'll make sure that it's not leaking fuel before we put the cover back on, and we're good to go with the fuel pump install. What's going on, everybody? So I'll pan out really quick, or just put the camera down. It's on. You can see it's strapped on the dyno. We stayed pretty late last night to get ahead of the schedule here. We're going over the small little things right now, putting the correct spark plugs in, topping off the coolant. We're going to bleed the system out for the coolant. And while I'm on the dyno, we still got to do the shifter install, so we'll be doing the shifter install, which I'll document as well. Answering some emails and messages that I got to get back to. But we'll see what this wants to do today. Get some more video footage, get some video footage of it rolling. And that's about it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this little project. One thing I want to mention too is if you do work on cars, get this funnel. Get this whole funnel kit. You can get it on Amazon. It's about 20 bucks. And with the 8th and 9th gen Civics, they are stubborn sometimes to bleed. So if you have Flash Pro, what I suggest doing is having the laptop open or your app, and basically the car should get to 205. When it's first bleeding, you might see about 212, and then the fan should kick on, coolant should cycle, should dip back down to 205 and keep going under possibly. You want to do that. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 good cycles. So these 8th and 9th gens are stubborn at times to bleed. So we're back in the car right now, monitoring the coolant temperature. Waiting for it to get to about 205. Fan should kick on. We'll let it cycle a couple times with the funnel on, get all the air out. Very important step. Not only if you have air in the system, could cause an overheating issue or it could cause a false reading, could also cause an idle surge, which I don't think a lot of people take into consideration. If you do got a big air bubble trapped in there, you could have not so smooth of an idle. So something to take in mind. As I get onto this car, we're going to be doing the shifter install at the same time. We'll document a little bit of that. We got to put the back seats all back together fully. She had a rear cross member piece as well that we got to install back in there. So we will get cracking. One other thing too, as I said in here, with Honda, if you press the right combination on here, you can change your 2-step. You can also have the RPM read air fuels. So some guys will touch this on accident, or you know, then the thing's going up and down and they freak out. That's normal. In the Honda manual, pull it up. I'll show you exactly how to change it and set it. So we're back, and you can see the temperature is at 203. We'll let it sit here for a little bit. Air is getting out of the system. It is burping. We'll see if it wants to increase a little bit. I think it was, there you go, it was at 205 for a second. Should get the fan to kick on, should cycle. Let that happen about 1 or 2 times. And it should be good. If you still see air in the funnel, see the funnel out there. And my assistant is checking it. If you still see air in the funnel, well, of course, let it keep on bleeding. But these cars like to sit around 205 at times. If it goes to 208, 212, it's a little bit high. At the same time, there is no pressure inside the coolant system right now because the radiator cap is off. So when you do put the cap on, that might shoot down a little bit. But you want to, like I said, you want to keep doing this a couple times. Make sure there's no air in the funnel. That's the biggest thing. If you do it 2 or 3 times, see no more air coming out of the funnel, bubbling up, you're good to go. You are set. But yes, buy one of those funnels. Makes a world of a difference. Matco and Snap-on, they sell them too on the truck, but you can get them on Amazon for a pretty decent price. One other quick tip that I forgot to mention about the coolant. When you get to the operating temperature and the fan kicks on, let the fan do its cycle, let it kick off, then turn the car off and let it suck in all the coolant, and also do that a couple times as well. That will help the process and speed it up a little bit too. And it will ensure that it gets all the air out. It will suck in a good amount of coolant once you turn the car off. So I'm taking a little break on the dyno. Car's doing really good. We're at about 8 pounds of boost only, and I'm stopping short right now. I'm getting into VTEC. When I tune, I don't do full out wide open throttle pulls right off the bat. I laugh a little bit because I know some people have asked me that before. I work my way into it. I would imagine other tuners do as well. You know, you start with partial throttle pulls. I start with low cam, which is no VTEC, and then I cross over with VTEC, make sure we're good, and I ease more into the throttle. And taking a break here because we are replacing the shifter in between. We got the Buddy Club shifter going in. But the other thing too about the tune, And I'm gonna hop out of here really quick and other thing about the tune that you know, when you're doing partial throttle, stopping early, it allows you to take a look at everything, make sure everything's 100%, make sure your readings are good, make sure you don't have anything weird going on. I myself go over specific stuff just to ensure everything is good where it should be. I'll hop out, make sure everything's good, make sure the straps are tight. Then I'll slowly get into more and more wide open throttle pulls. You know, if you're going to put a percentage on it, I probably start off at about, I don't know, 45% throttle, and then I slowly get into it. Like I said, this just ensures. I had a person ask me before, you know, well, why don't you tune VTEC right away? Well, if your tune is not 100% where it should be, and you're not paying attention, and everything does happen pretty quickly on the dyno, I'll try to get a video of that as well, what happens during a pull, you can easily miss something and cause some damage. So on top of, you know, a car making power, of course, always the safety is a big issue, the safety of the motor. So car's no good if you're making power, but it doesn't last. So that's how I tune. I can only say me. I know, I'm sure other guys do this as well, and you know, it works. Besides that, everything's going good. I'll get some final numbers here shortly. I'll get some videos of the car in between runs. The other thing too, it's got a brand new clutch in it, so the benefit of doing a clutch job and then going on the dyno is I can break the clutch in on the dyno. Besides that, there's nothing too much more to mention. I'm trying to think. Car's going smooth. She does have stock engine mounts. It is recommended to upgrade them. We were supposed to do the bottom one for some odd reason. The mount was supposed to show up yesterday. FedEx decided not to ship it correctly. It went to two different states, not where it was supposed to go. So hopefully the mount comes here early tomorrow. We can get the car off the dyno, put the mount in. If not, she does plan on upgrading the motor mount. So, you know, and besides that too, you know, just visual checks in between. Besides checking my straps, making sure the car's not leaking anything, making sure all the clamps look tight. You know, making sure you don't have any vacuum leaks, which normally if you have a vacuum leak, the car is going to act a little bit different. You know, after a pull, you'll have a higher idle, maybe a surging idle. Besides that, everything's good. So I'm literally laying inside this trunk and getting this brace on. And this one bolt uses a bracket that you're supposed to hold because you can't get your hand back there. And I will say, horrible. Horrible. It's been installed already, so the thing's been bent. You're supposed to bend it. Pain, such a pain. We had to take this brace out to get to that fuel pump. So now we're trying to install that back in here, in between the dyno tunes. So shifter's in. I'm out of breath from laying upside down awkwardly in this car. I'm gonna climb out. So I wanted to get a quick video as I'm letting the car cool down here and pretty much finishing everything up here. What you just saw was partial throttle tuning. I guess you can say it's the not so fun videos. Partial throttle tuning is exactly what it is. It's tuning at partial throttle. Most videos you'll see online are just going to be dyno, the full out wide open throttle pulls, because those are entertaining. That's what people want to see. But I will say that the tune is not fully complete until partial throttle is finished and dialed in. You know, that's what separates. You'll hear some guys, yeah, you know, it made good power, but you know, on the highway it just sucks. It stumbles, it hiccups, idle blows. You know, that all comes with the territory of a tune. You know, the amount of detail that I pay attention to throughout the whole tune is, I mean, you know, I don't want to say that it's everybody should do it. Let's just say that. But I hear from time and time again some people having partial throttle issues like that. So, you know, I wanted to just put the camera up on the bench, let you guys kind of get a glimpse of it. Not so exciting, a little boring. If you can hear the blow-off valve noise, you know, that sounds cool. But that's partial throttle. And let's face it, 95% of your driving is going to be partial throttle. So, you know, if you make good power, but partial throttle sucks, you know, what fun is it? You know, I guess if it's a full-out drag car, you know, then different story, but the majority of the customers that I deal with are driving their cars on the street. So, you know, that's pretty much it. Car's pretty much dialed in. It's set, making real good power. Made 374 horsepower, which is right in the middle of the goal. You know, I said we were shooting for 350, 400. That's the other thing, too. Right now, we're on a 1,000cc gram injectors. We're on an AEM E85 pump, and we're getting right about 80%, 82% duty cycle on the injector. So I like to, when it comes to duty cycle, that's how much the injectors are working. I like to be around 80%. You know, it is what it is. And I say it from time and time again. Dynos read different. Every dyno reads either higher or lower. We know our dyno reads a little bit lower compared to most. It doesn't mean the car makes less power. It just means, you know, that, well, the dyno is just a big tool to calibrate the car. But realistically, you know, I already talked to the customer about all this. Her plan is to come back, do a fuel return setup, do boost by gear, and also switch it over to E85. You know, the other thing too, if we keep pushing it, you know, probably crack 400. Could probably, you know, brag about that number. But I'll use the term usable power. 400 horsepower on this car, it's pretty much just going to spin the tires. 374 horsepower too is just going to spin the tires. That's why we're going to want to set up boost by gear a little bit later. I'll document all that too. All in all, in the videos that are in between here, when I edit them, the last video that I really talked was everything going good on the dyno. I spoke too soon because we actually started having boost issues. After one run, just got boost creep like nothing. I, of course, set boost cut, so the car was cutting out on the dyno. Looked around, we went into basically in our mode where we figure out what's wrong with the car, and everything seemed fine, but then we noticed that one of the ports on the wastegate, if you're not using the port, it has to be blocked off. One of the little plugs vibrated loose and came off. So we found it. We put it back in. It's a pain to get to on this car, but fixed it, hitting boost like it should. We're right around, I have to take a look at the log, but we're low on boost. We got plenty room to grow on this car. But like I said, we want to make sure she can enjoy it. And sorry, I'm trying to steady the camera on the steering wheel. It's been a long week, long night. Still here after hours. I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going to pull it off the dyno tonight. Andrew's going to put the bumper back on. My mom has an appointment. If you follow me, my mom has an appointment, and even on this video, second doctor's appointment this week. She has cancer again, they said, so she's gonna have to fight that. We're trying to stay positive. So we got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. That's why I'm staying late to finish up what I got to finish up here. We'll put the bumper on. Andrew will put it on tomorrow morning, finalize everything else. I'll come in after the doctor's appointment, and ultimately she'll be picking this car up on Saturday. But everything's good. Tune looks awesome. No counts of knock, which is always great. I saw 1 or 2 counts, but I'll call it phantom knock. It was when it was hitting the rev limiter. I'll hop out of the car in a second. I'll show you guys the dyno sheet, and it's gonna be pretty much about it. I'll probably do one more video. I'll hop in, or I'm sorry, when I pull the car off the dyno tomorrow with the bumper on, go over everything. And as I always say, the info will be down below. Email, phone number. We're on Facebook. We're easy to get a hold of. And a lot of guys that are watching these videos, we are located in Illinois. Been doing this now doors have been officially open for 15 years. I've been doing this now since 1999. And the main objective that I got into this business was, I was sick of seeing my parents getting taken for rides by mechanics, and my parents gave me an option either to go to school or go work construction with my father. So I went to school. I went to school for all this, and I'm here. Like I said, this October will be 15 years. The doors will be officially open. Been doing it since 99, so 21 years I'm doing this. These videos are to help you guys. I can't state that enough. If you're on Facebook, go like us. I go live, answer your questions. If you're not on Facebook, that's fine. Like I said, info will be down below. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a great night. So we're outside, standing over here by the dyno graph, and I'll flip the camera around really quick. One of the big things that I always tell people when building a setup is you want to set your car up with the right turbo. Basically, I see a lot of people with specific turbos, and I think it's almost more so because of, I don't want to say the name, but it's more so popular to have. One of the biggest turbos that is out there, I would say, would be the 62 trim turbo. This one's not a straight 62, it's a 5862. I think it's ideal for her setup. She has little room to grow and make the power, but yet she is still going to be spooling pretty early. Not a good. She's going to barely have any lag. Looking at the dyno chart. Looking at the dyno chart at 5,200 RPM, she's already at 297 horsepower, and then it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. So that's what we're always looking for, is a good power band. A turbo setup, especially on a street car more so, makes no sense if your turbo's spooling up, at 6,500 RPMs. You're going to be out of RPM before you can actually enjoy the car. So this one's really nice. Like I said, she got plenty room to grow on it too. Turbo's not even close to being maxed out at all. So, she wants to go E85. We'll get that all set up for her when she comes back next time. And if she wants to push more power, if she wants more on the street, then we'll probably aim around 450 will be the mark. So it's just all up to her. Right now, without boost by gear, once this thing kicks in, it's pretty damn quick on the street.